Hello, good evening. Thank you for joining us again on the Moment of Transformation. And we've been having a blast in the last couple of weeks, just discussing about how to overcome the enemy called average. I sincerely hope you are following. If you missed the previous episodes, just get to our YouTube, Segun Olugbemi TV. You're going to see all of them there. They are all been, uploaded there. And you can also check them. Just go down this page on Facebook and you will see previous episodes there. You can save them on your device and then work them later. It's essential because, as a matter of fact, I have been thinking of, teaching on something different. I wanted to go into the book of Hebrews and do an extensive work in the book of Hebrews to help believers understand where they are in the scheme of things and where we have arrived at and how we can make things, we can make some very good improvement on the way we live today in the promises of God. But I began to get this leading to go in this direction. Although I've written this material for some years, I was invited to speak in another conference on this subject also, how to overcome this enemy called average. And that's exactly why I thought, okay, let me share with you my thoughts on this. The last time we explained the fact that when you sleep too much, you shortchange your life. And there's difference between sleep and rest. And a restful sleep that is short is better than a long sleep that's not restful. And then we ended up where we said an average man always surrounds himself with, average people. People who will buy into his passion, who will buy into his excuses, who will fuel his passion, who will keep him, at the level he is. They never see beyond it. He's the smartest. He's like the king with one eye in the city of the blind. So whatever he says is what everybody, aligns with. And so they surround themselves with average people, with yes men, not with valued critics. They don't think that you need to criticize them. Oh, you're judging me. Oh, you are doing this. Oh, you're doing that. That's all that will be going on. Instead of actually looking into people that and handpick people that will confront them, confront their egos, confront their pride, confront, whatever. People that will tell them the way it should be, people that will add value to them, people that will contribute something positive, that we say maybe something contrary, not what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. And we stopped at this passage, Proverbs chapter 15, verse 19, and I will start with that today. Proverbs 15, 19. The way of the lazy man is like a hedge of thorns, but the way of the upright is a highway. One of the key to success in the life of anyone is to surround himself with men and women who will tell them what they need to hear, will tell you what you need to hear rather than what you want to hear. You need to surround yourself with people who have what I call a third eye. They are able to read it. Now, let me give you an illustration. As an author, when I write, I give it to an editor. The editor works on the book. Now, when I write, I try to, try my best to edit the book, do whatever I can. But you see, every time I'm reading each line, I'm reading it with what I had in mind when I wrote it, not what I actually wrote. Very often, I will see somebody who writes, he say, this statement is not correct, or this, what do you mean by this statement? I will read it, they say, but that's not what you wrote. And then they will read it to me, I say, is that what I wrote? They say, what? So every time I'm reading that book, although I'm the one that has written it, I want to edit it now. I'm now reading what I had in mind when I wrote it, not what I actually wrote down. Now, when you give me a book to help you edit, you better believe it's a whole different game, because I'm reading from the point of a critic. I'm reading as a reader from outside. I wasn't your thought. I didn't know what you want to do. I'm reading from the point of what you communicated to me, not what you wanted to communicate, but what I read and what I understood. That's what I'm going to be reading. And so I have to wear a different hat now, not as the author, because I'm not, but I'm reading it now like an editor. Now, when I give the book to my editor, I empower them to ask me questions and probably restructure some things. I was using certain words, and the other time my editor said, how many of the people going to read your audience understand this word? We should look for a smaller word, you know, and then we agreed on, okay, change it, put something next to it. You understand what I'm saying? So an editor had to read differently. By the time the editor is done, some things I miss, she's able to see, but there are things she will miss also, or he will miss. So we give it to the first reader. The proofreader reads, and he will change the thing in a blue pen. He's able to work it. If it's on the system, he's able to highlight the ones he changed, or he's able to discover his mistakes. Then we then go again and give it to a second proofreader or something. There's a guy that I have, one of my very close friends and a disciple. I call him an eagle-eyed man. If he proofreads anything, you can say 99% you might not discover any mistake. He's always the last person that I give any material to proofread. You know, and when we're publishing materials and, you know, it's gone through all the processes, you know, he is the one that will proofread last. He's able to pick it. He has an uncanny way of viewing things. He will ask you questions you never thought about. He will ask you things, and so automatically the smartest thing is always to look for people who see what you don't. People who will take you to account, people who think differently from you. If you're surrounded with people who always think yes men, who think exactly the way you think, then you are never going to excel. You are never going to go beyond them, because they only tell you what they see. So you need people who see constructively different from you. It is extremely dangerous to be surrounded by yes men, for they will fuel your passion instead of galvanizing you to action and propelling you to a better future. Here are some symptoms you need to watch out for. Number one, watch out for victim mindset. If you don't want to be an average person, do not allow this victim mindset. Everything is happening. I don't know why this. I don't know why that. Life is all against me. That's a victim mindset. I found that those who are lazy, those who are average, who have this lazy and average attitude, always love to guilt trip others perpetually. Rather than stretching themselves to see and feel what others are going through, they choose to lazily conclude themselves to be the victims of every circumstance. Victim mindset is a form of laziness that seeks to excuse itself from not succeeding. It's because I didn't have anybody. Nobody made anything ready into my hands. Who has? Except you didn't grow. You know that an average of 80% or maybe 90% of people in our nations, many nations of their day, they don't have anything made available to their hands. Nobody gave them anything to work with. Nobody gave them anything. They had to do whatever they can. They have to make a living at all costs, stretch themselves to succeed. All right? So don't play with this victim mindset. Number two, whining and complaining is an enemy of excellence. It's an enemy of success. No one whines and complains more than a lazy average man. They complain about everything, everywhere, every time, and everyone. You can't do that. Who doesn't have complaints? You can complain that I prefer to remain in bed now. You see, adults, I heard a young teenager was saying one day, oh, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do this. And I said to him, that is what makes the difference between adults and children. Adults go to where they don't want to go. It's true that they will say, follow your passion, follow your heart. There are times that we do what we don't want in order to get to what we want. Your passion sometimes is somebody, I met somebody, He studied, he's an electrical engineer. This guy, when it comes to electrifying a house or rectifying faults or something, he's a genius. And one day he said to me that he needs some money, he needs sponsorship. I said, for what? He said he wants to wax an album. He wants to produce an album. Excuse me? I said, well, I can paint, I can print, and you know me as an electrician, but I want to do an album. I said, what? How have you been feeding in the last 5 years? It's through your electrical work and painting job. How then did you come up with this idea that you want to get to? I said, okay, you make enough money from electricity, from electrical work first, and then it will allow you to go into that other thing. You love it, you want to do that, it's okay. But now you don't have the money because I won't buy your album. I've listened to you. I won't even buy your album. What are you talking about? You can't allow yourself to just complain and complaining and all that. You can continue to whine. It's because he didn't work. It's because people did this. And you always think that people, this entitlement mentality, hoping that people owe you anything. Number 3 is blaming others. They never accept responsibility for anything. It's always someone else's fault, why they did what they did, why they are the way they are. They are very effective at passing the buck to others. This accounts for why they are the way they are. You cannot continue to blame others for what is not working in you. Look for areas where you can improve. That will take care of that. I told you, amassing yes men will make you lose the race of life. Yes men will make you hate to be challenged. You will hate to be told or advised what to do. That's an average man. They hate to be shown better ways of achieving their goals. They hate people who tell them the hard truth. You can't sit back and not want people to tell you. You need people to critique your work. I always say this, a lot of times, I just tell people, I said, look at this thing I'm doing. What do you think we're not doing right? Some articles that I send out that you probably have read in the social media or mentoring platforms, I've written them, I read them, and I doubted if they will meet the standard that I wanted. And I pass it up to the editor, and then we walk through it. And I said, do you think this is? They say, what? This really taught me. I've learned so much from it. We need it. I said, well, I don't want to feed people with garbage. I just want to give the best to them. Do you think this meets the standard of delivery? Say, well, if you are writing to yourself, this doesn't meet. But if you are writing for others, this is what they need. Do you understand what I'm saying? Constantly allowing people to critique your work. Let them help you. That's how you can go above average. You remember your teachers in primary school? Do you remember when they write, if goats didn't eat your report card? You know what I mean. You failed, and then when they say, how, where's your result? You say, I passed, so it's goats that ate my result card, you know. But if goats didn't eat your report cards, and you can see trace some of them, you are going to see something. You will see the teacher will say, can do better, work harder next time, put more effort. You are intelligent, but stop playing. And this and that. They keep writing these things, which is the summary of all that they say is that you have an average mindset. Push yourself a little further. Because if you could score 49, 50, you can score 55. If you score 59, you can be 65. It's just a little more effort. Okay? Number 5, we stopped at number 4 last week. Number 5, an average man is willing to let go everything, including essentials, if it requires action. In other words, no matter how much value he places on it, he will let you have it if you want to push him. If you are pushing him beyond his limits, he says, I can't try it, I can't try it. He doesn't want to push the envelope. Proverbs 19:24, a lazy man buries his hand in the bowl and will not so much as bring it to his mouth. How lazy can you get? In other words, they've set the food before you. You didn't prepare it. Someone else did all the work and gave it to you. But you would rather that the person come to feed you than you even feeding yourself. How lazy can you get and still breathe? Proverbs 26:15. The lazy man buries his hand in the bowl. It wearies him to bring it back out to his mouth. You know, he's even tired of eating, though he knows he needs to eat for survival. Most people do not consider that being average, you know, when they don't consider it average or being lazy when they go for the easiest option without exploring other possible alternate possibilities. I said it the other time and I say it again. Water will find its course. In your house, wherever it is you live in 3-story, 10-story or whatever, water will go to the lowest place. And the lowest place you will find water in your house will be the sockaway. If you don't mind being the droplets of being the reservoir for dirt, for faces, for dirty things, for every negative thing, then you cannot just sit down and accept or explore, just take the easiest way out. The easiest way is not always the right way. You know, remember when we were in school, secondary school, you did that a lot. You know, we had this general mathematics or something, and then they will bring everything, then solve the answers are there, the answers are at the back, and then, so what do? You just, instead of solving it, before you go to check, you just go to the back, copy the answers, and then you put it there, and then they call you, come and explain how you solve this equation. You are unable to do that. You are unable to do that. Mental laziness is the willingness to take the easiest path instead of stretching your mind, your will, your emotions, or your intellect, or your body to achieve what was once thought impossible. Unless and until you are willing to stretch yourself beyond your current challenges, your potential cannot, you know, your potential elasticity will be abridged, and your value will be shortchanged. You will not be able to expand. You won't be able to pull aside because everyone can elasticize. You can increase. You always have your elastic limit. And then if you run the rubber again and recycle and run it again, you can increase your elastic limit. All right? So consider the following, and as you consider this point, willingness to concede without a fight is an average mindset. When God blessed man in the garden, he blessed them and said, be fruitful, multiply, feed the earth, subdue and have dominion over every living thing that moves on the earth. This statement presupposes that man is going to make efforts to control resources. You are going to subdue. I told you before, the word subdue is to subjugate, is to submit, is to force to come under, is to subjugate, to press, to take control, to take charge of. To give up on life issues is, without looking for alternative solution, is a way to describe your average mindset and laziness. No problem has one solution. There have to be some other ways to resolve these issues without capitulating. So don't always go for the lowest, the easiest option. Number 2, loving to take the easy way out is another way to say you're an average man. A lot of people are like water, like I said, they flow, taking the easy way. Your best option is to discover something. Don't chicken out of pressure. Pressure and surprises can help your creativity. You know, they help you create opportunities to unveil your ingenuity and innovation. Everything is impossible until someone does it. Okay? I told our children years ago that you never ask me for a solution until you have tried 3 different ways. That way they have to think outside the box. You need to, you know, to strive for creativity. Okay? You strive for creativity when you take the easiest option out. It's seldom the best. Waiting for fate and fortune to suddenly become rich is another thing an average man does. It's a sign of laziness. Okay, I know the bet Naija. You go to play lottery, you go to play pool, hoping that you're going to get results. Man, that's a sign of laziness. Because when you get something without working for it, you lose it without minding because you didn't know the process. You were not part of the process. When the Lord turns again the captivity of Zion, we are like them that dream. You know what? You are like them that dreamed simply because you are not part of the process. If you are part of the process, the result will not be a dream to you. If you are aware that God already said, I'm bringing you out, get prepared, and all of it, it won't be like a dream to you because you know you are part of the process. This category of laziness is always daydreaming of cashing out in a lot of money without commensurate labor. They include gamblers, poker players, betting, lottery, and other people. Money is usually given as a reward for a problem solved. And unless it is stolen or bequeathed to you, you need to quit dreaming of suddenly becoming rich when you have not made investment or offered any goods or services. No ship is going to bring in merchandise unless you send them out. Do you understand what I'm saying? Number 6. An average man loves his comfort zone. Proverbs chapter 20 verse 4. The lazy man and an average man will not plow because of winter. He will beg during the harvest and have nothing. When you find yourself always making excuses and trying to say, I don't want to go, there's so much cold out there and all that, it's an indication that you are an average man, you are lazy. Don't be an average man. Average mindset makes you complain. I know when we were children, when we were going to farm, and I usually, I'll tell my dad, I said, look at the rain, look at the cloud, everywhere is dark. Why not we postpone this? He will say, well, the last time I checked, you don't look like salt or sugar. You're a human being. And I said, but this rain will beat us with cold. He said, when I will get cold in the farm, he said, when it beats you while you're working, you find yourself sweating. Just keep doing your work and let the rain do its own job. And I then learned that the farmers don't also want to go with the cloud out there, with the rains there. But if they don't go there, and it's not going to be crop to harvest next year. All growth takes place outside of your comfort zone. Therefore, if you are in your comfort zone, you are either not growing or you are not ready for growth. The tea bag does not release its best in cold water. It does in a boiling water. Surprises, pressures, challenges help us dig deep within and bring forth ingenuity. So as you have all heard, necessity is the mother of invention. Until you pour out yourself to this task and work yourself out, work your fingers to the bone, you cannot achieve your best. Do you understand what I'm saying? Check the following. Number 1, unwillingness to stretch. That's a sign of laziness. You cannot sit back there and you don't want to stretch. You don't want to, you don't want to go beyond, just leave me where I am. You're troubling my life. Oh, please stop disturbing me. I don't understand. Just leave me alone. You don't want to stretch. Scientific research has shown that man is here to utilize all of his brain. We're told that we use all your brain function are the capacity. I mean, you are using the whole of your brain, but what our brains are capable of achieving, discovery, things that can still be loaded in our brain, we have not really accomplished all that. We can still put so much more. In fact, I was studying and I saw a little child that speaks about, 12 languages or so. And they said, even that child is capable of speaking 18. If you start on time, the child can speak 18 languages without missing it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you need to understand that to enlarge your brain capacity, you have to, with all our innovations and inventions, we still can discover more. With all our discoveries, with all our technological advancement, let me help you expand your brain power. Let me give you this exercise. As you're watching me now, what can we do to have a society without crimes, without jail, without police, no prison house, no reformation home, just a clean society like that? What can we do? Yeah, I know what's going on in your mind. The first thing is, no, it's not possible. It's not possible. Just calm down. Let's think. What if everybody in the nation has a job? That's right. Everyone has a job. And they are earning so much. They have a home they can go to, they have a family, and they can earn so much. There's no need to steal. There's no need to rob anyone. And what about that? What if they all have vehicles? Everybody has what they need. What if everybody suddenly become, spiritual, not religious, but spiritual, and they all just say, I'm going to walk by the law of conscience? What if we create this society whereby everyone has a need, there's a place they go, they solve that need, no matter what the need is. They just go there, and there are people to attend to them, and all the needs are met financially, emotionally, physically, and anything. And okay, so just now that I started saying so many things, your mind is now saying, maybe it's possible to create such a society. I just increase your ability to think. I just increase your brain power right there. The entire human body functions through the aid of muscles, whether it's the brain, the heart, the lungs, and everything. They have to be exercised to keep fit, so that they can function regularly. Therefore, pressures and challenges are good for you. They are healthy for you. I'm going to, maybe one of these days I will teach on positive pressures, maybe on our life coach. That means these muscles must be toned through stretching, stretching and doing certain things. Without that, then they will collapse. If you sit down, if you lie down consistently for 1 week without walking, without exercising those muscles, if you put your legs on the ground, the legs will not be ready to walk. So exercising yourself is a nightmare to a lazy man. Exercising oneself is a nightmare to a lazy man. To an average man, he doesn't feel that he needs to exercise. Inside you is the stamina to become world champion. You have that stamina. An average man hates getting out of his comfort zone. He hates pressure. He's unwilling to give up. He's willing to give up everything if it will cost time for investigation or investment. Another thing to consider is that an average man is unwilling to manage what he has until he needs it. Man was created for management. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 5, I love that passage. It says, no shrub or field had yet grown on the earth, and no pleasant field, no plant on the field had yet sprouted, because God has not caused it to rain on the earth, because there was no one to manage the ground, to cultivate the ground. Do you know that if man ever asks God for furnitures, He does not give you a furniture, a table. He gives you a tree to cultivate it and make it a tree. Now you are married to that woman, you thought she's a devil. Or you married to that man, you thought she's the worst. That is the best, the finest men in their raw material state. Every woman is a raw material. Every man is a raw material. Never you believe that you can get complete product out there. God doesn't give you a complete product. Is it not intriguing that God won't let it rain on the earth because there was nobody to manage the fallout? The whole earth will grow, shrubs, trees, animals will multiply. Jesus said you should pray for laborers. He said the harvest is plenteous. Pray for laborers, for managers, for harvesters, people that will manage those proceeds. Because there are many supervisors, but what we need is those who will manage those things. You can't sit back there and, our daughters in the house, sometimes they just come to me, Daddy, we're praying every day. Every night we pray that God will give us a man like you. I said, a man like me doesn't exist. All of you are thieves. You want to get finished product. I said, a man with my potential exists. But a man, like me, doesn't exist. It has taken me 37 years. to be with one woman. It has taken this woman a lot of patience to work with me, to endure with me my shortcomings, my frailties, my faults, my inadequacies, my whatever. There are areas where people praise me that I have no business getting credit for them. But for the woman I married, I mean, she comes to an area, she sees all the lizards, she will know their names, know the sizes, know where they live, all the chicken and the goat dogs. She knows everything, knows everyone around, knows everybody. He's a friend to everybody. I got to have this with you before I follow in. I don't want to be in everyone's space. I don't want everyone in my space. So I'm different. I don't like ceremonies. If you can excuse me, I can send someone to represent me and all that. And I used to make fun of her. I said, thank you so much for being the minister for ceremony affairs. Because she goes for all our weddings. And people would thank me for gifts and souvenirs that I sent. I didn't even know when she went there. I didn't know when she did the souvenir. I didn't know nothing about it. And people will say, thank you for everything. But I'm getting those credits because someone is able to manage me, cultivating me to become. So when she comes, I need so and so, I'm going to represent you here. I give the money. So I do the back job, behind the scenes. I give her the money. I give her the provision. Hey, so and so drive mommy. You are driving mommy out. And then she goes to the place and represents her. I get the credit, but typically I won't be available there. I don't have anything against it. It's not just the thing that I do the most. But she has strength in that area. So she's able to cultivate me. So over the years, somebody had worked on me. Somebody had been patient with me. Children have been patient with my inadequacies, my lack, and my whatever. They put up together. And all of a sudden, you walk on and you say, want a man like me? It has to be someone with my potential because you have to cultivate. When I got married to my wife, she got her NCE right in my house. And we started discussing, okay, you need to go for your degree. Okay. And there's opportunity. Okay, do your master's. And she came up and said, get to the heart of her career. Go for your PhD. We just kept doing it. And everything happened right in our home. She had a last son while she was still doing her first degree. And she was already in her 50s. When she got up, I think she was 51 when she had her PhD. You know what that means? Cultivating her. To get to the height of her career, cultivating. So everything in life has to be cultivated. You have to manage it. Your assignment is turn around. Is to turn around everything for what you want it to be. Turn the petroleum to become plastic. Turn petroleum to become something, to become gas. Turn crude oil to become plastic. Turn it to become foam. Turn everything you have to become what you need. Every mineral you know is always in the dirt. Diamond is in the dirt, is in the dirty places, is in the mud. Gold is in the mud. Topaz, all of these precious stone gems, they are all deep down there in the dirty place. But when you play dirty and you go down there and you dig them out and you clean them out and refine them, they become money. A lazy workman will always, like we say, complain is true and insufficient resources. But the diligent will manage them to produce results. An average man will always have a complaint. An average man will rather pray and fast instead of taking action. Actions that will lead to results. Actions that will lead to, will lead to success, will lead to result. A lot of miracles you are praying for can be released by simple attitude adjustment. Walk. Some miracles you are asking for is in someone's hand. Just know how to connect with the individual. Many years ago, a wonderful man of blessed memory now, Sir Ojimadu Nweze, the founder and the CEO, of News Engineering. This man, awesome man. He taught me some things I never forgot. He would call me and say, Reverend, I want you to pray for me on this. Pray for me there. So one day I called him. I said, are you home, Chief? He said, yes. I said, I need to talk with you. So I got there and I brought out my legal pad, my jota, and I said, I need you to teach me something. Teach me. I want you to talk to me. He said, Reverend, you are the ones teaching us the Bible. What I said, I'm teaching Bible. I'm not a businessman. So teach me what you know. He said, what am I going to teach my reverend now? And he said to me, Reverend, let me tell you this. He taught me two things. Number one, he said, if a person says he's a child of God, if a person says he's a general giver, a person is good and all that, don't believe them until you have tested them with money. He said, money is the revealer of the content of a man's heart. And then he said something to me next. He said, another thing I want you to know is that the miracles that we pray for are results of actions we put in place. He said, let me give you an illustration. I called you now, you prayed for me on a project. I'm telling you the testimony now that I've been considered for that job. He said, do you know what? Before I called you, I heard that the job was coming up. I went to put in my tender, and then I went in there to see the boss. I see something, and I paid what I needed to pay, the fee and all that, and I did all that. Submitted my documents, my papers, and I was there. He said it was while I was waiting for the overall boss to see him that somebody came to me and said, Chief, how are you? Do you have anything to do here? He said, well, I came to put in a tender for so-and-so job. He said, consider it done. I will follow it up. You didn't need to tender for it because you are most qualified for that. He said, the miracle you prayed for me about happened when I did everything. He said, if I have not tendered, if I have not paid the tender fee, if I have not done this, and all that, then even if I had gone there, the job would not be mine. I needed to do all the preliminary stuff to make me get that job. You see, a lot of miracles you are praying for just it requires that you organize your life and knowing what to do. It's still a miracle when someone teaches you what to do and you go to do it and get a result. It's still a miracle. So it is that mindset, that average mindset and laziness, to be unwilling to change what you can. Resistance to change is a classic indication of laziness. Stop being too touchy and sensitive and overreacting when you need a paradigm shift. You need a paradigm shift. You need to change from the way you do things. Number 7, an average man refuses to attempt what he can. Instead, he prefers to talk about it or to talk about what he can and spends more time chatting on non-essentials. Proverbs 21:25. The desire of the lazy kills him, for his hands refuse to labor. Proverbs 14:23. In all labor there is profit, but idle chatter leads only to poverty. Proverbs 19:15. Laziness casts one into a deep sleep, and an idle person will suffer hunger. Do you understand what I'm saying? You will suffer hunger. Once you enjoy spending too much time on the phone, chatting, texting, or sexting, and casual conversations beyond, acceptable limit, then, or stealing into other activities that, that should be profitable, and then you are eating into those time in idle chatter, it can be considered being average or being lazy. Idle chatting, conversation, idle chatting, idle conversation, and constructive dialogue are different things altogether. Lazy people are involved with gossip, tale-bearing, busybody, idle talk, and inconvenience guesting. But real strong man who has a spirit of excellence, the mindset of an excellent person, knows about 1, time management. An average person has no time planner, no understanding of time management, no work plan, no diary, no timetable, no journaling, no organized way of doing his job. That's laziness. Do you understand the importance of planning your time? Okay, you have just the other day we started this new year. Now we have now come into another month. You know what I'm telling you now? In this new month, sit down and plan the rest of the year now. Plan it now, please. The next 10 months, what am I going to do with it? How am I going to live this life? What am I going to do? Put them now into quarters. Now, quickly, do something. Let that be daily diary, journal. Do your work plan. The lazy man doesn't accept responsibility, for respecting time. Instead, he prefers things just to work out anyway, or he prefers fate to bring in fortune. They always have a backlog of work. emails to reply, untreated files, or unattended important matters. How can you live your life like that? I've written you an email, you won't even reply, you won't even see. You say, oh, I don't check my mail that often. Well, I sent this thing to your WhatsApp. I've not even checked it. I have over 300 messages there. Seriously? I said, but I call you, you didn't even call me back. Oh, actually, I'm lazy to call back. You are not an average guy, you are lazy. They're caught up in social media bugs. Sometimes they call, they text, or they just say they feel chatty. So they can spend longer time than necessary on social media, or chatting or sexting or watching movies, gaming, and midnight calls and freelancing. Then somebody is there to, oh, I just feel chatty. Are you available? I'm not available. I don't feel chatty. If we don't have important things to do, like I say to people, I don't have permanent friends, I have permanent interests. And there are friends that I've found who have represented that interest. And their lives, we have similar interests, similar goals, and we've been together for more than 30-something years. Some 36 years, 38 years, 40 years, some 27, 30 years. With 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of compulsory schooling or work, they hardly know how to program the rest of the day for maximum impact. They always have excuses on their hands while others complain, of not having enough time. Somebody's saying, I don't have enough time. I don't even know what to do because 24 hours seems not to be enough. That's when you need planning. Other people say they have too much time. I always have the time. I have any time, everywhere, anytime you need me. That accounts for the reason many of them are, present at every debate and non-essential conversations on Facebook, on Twitter, argument, battering, cursing each other out on the social media platforms. That's not how to live your life. They always want to contribute to social debate. Flash news. You don't have to have an opinion about everything. And if you don't have an opinion, you don't have to voice every opinion on everything. Being average is refusal to attempt something new. New things often take time and consecration. They need concentration and consecration. They need commitment. They need dedication and focus, which an average man is unwilling to offer. A lazy man is unwilling to offer. The fear of failure is more important to him. It's a major reason why he is not willing to try. Yet, he has time for every other thing apart from what is important. An average man is defensive and argumentative about his senseless excuses. Excuses can be explained and defended, yet it doesn't make them genuine. They are not necessarily plausible. Proverbs 26:16, the lazy man is wise in his own eyes than 7 men who can answer sensibly. How can you be wiser than 7 men who have more intelligence than you, who are succeeding? An average man sees that he's always right, and his easiest way of solving problems is always the right way. Often, the right thing can be the most difficult thing. You may be blighted by the fact that insisting on your point of argument is because you are unwilling to put up the necessary sacrifice in order to achieve that purpose, or to achieve greater purpose than your parochial self-interest. An average man will always advance reasons, sometimes that cannot be undone. He thinks everyone owes him something. There's entitlement mindset, entitlement mentality. He is forced to offer excuses and explain away his excuses. He prepares his defenses well ahead of any challenge so that 7 men cannot convince him. Busy people and diligent people hardly have time to make long, coarse arguments. They deal with facts straightforward and head on, and they are solution driven. The lazy is opposite this. They are, they deal in hypothesis, in presumption, in abstract. What if this one happen? Supposing this, they don't deal in reality. Constructive debates and question and answer sessions are great, and they can be healthy for learning. What is unhealthy is unacceptable, blind arguments and just self-defense of feeble efforts and excuses. A diligent man bows to superior argument. A diligent man reasons what is important, what is superior. Once there's a superior argument, instantly he goes into it. Ignorance makes us bold. Real knowledge makes us humble. To bow to superior argument means you listen. You follow the process. You follow the process of thought. What is being said, what you can deduce from it, and then the process it takes to, to fulfill those things. But for an average man, that's too laborious for him. For a lazy man, it's too laborious. He thinks he's wiser than 7 men. He's blinded by his argument and his feeble thoughts. The final thing I'm going to talk about, and I will be done, is that an average man is a procrastinator. Procrastination is his name. He puts off and then forward everything he can do today. He does not accept now for an answer. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 18. Because of laziness, the building decays, and through idleness, the house leaks. Now you answer the following questions as I round up. Do you know what your activities might be before each day? Do you have a work plan? Do you push forward what you can do today? Do you pretend to be offering your best when in the real sense you are offering half-hearted service? Do you wait for a stronger force to motivate you before you do what is necessary or what can be done? Are you self-motivated? Do you leave everything to chance and happenstance without a conscious effort to work at the desired goal? Are you actively involved in encouraging and dissuading others from offering their best? Are you encouraging others to put up their best instead? Are you always antagonistic to those who are progressive for fear that you might be requested to step up your game? These and many other questions are indicative of a lazy and average mindset. I don't know what else to say to you, but I poured my heart to you. I'm sure I'm going to tell you what you can do, to be self-motivated. I've said many of them along the way as I'm coming up. But developing the spirit of excellence requires some effort. I might be talking about that in our next studies, how to develop that excellent spirit, how to be in the superlative. It's not always bigger. You can be the biggest. You can be the brightest. You can develop that. But if you can deal with all this mindset of average, I'm sure excellence is calling on you. Thank you for watching us. I want to pray for you today that you will not be a wasted generation. You will not waste your time here on earth. Time wasters, destiny wasters, people around you who ought to contribute, but they just want to draw you back. May the Lord separate you from them. May God open your eyes to see everyone, to know those who are around you. And if there are people who are working at cross purposes, I pray that God will separate you from them. I pray that you'll be productive, you'll be successful, you will be progressive. In Jesus' name. Please share this to other platforms, share it with your family and friends. And if you miss the other previous training, just go to our YouTube channel or check our Facebook page. We have posted them there. You'll continue to enjoy them. God bless you. Until I come your way next time, this has been the moment of transformation.